Welcome back to our creative space here at A.R.T's Real Repairs for Real Customers. The topic this time is an heirloom desk with a leather top with a burn in it. And this is by request, actually, from a viewer who has a very similar situation. So we're going to feature it today. Now, I realize this will not be of interest to the vast majority of repair technicians who are slogging it out on the dealer lots. But for the other dozen of you, I hope that will be helpful in some regards, especially in planning, because we need to consider, are we going to replace all of the leather, or are we going to repair the leather that's there? And if we replace the damaged area, are we going to insert leather into the damaged area, or are we going to use a filler? And if we're going to repair the leather, is that going to be before or after the wood for the desk is refinished? What would be the best timing for that step? So all of these are considerations that we're going to look at as we follow the progress of this restoration. Ready for that? Let's get to work. So the doctor that owned this desk wanted the leather replaced. The leather is severely damaged in that far piece you see in the corner. And he wanted it to have a more modern look. Of course, you've seen in our previous ventures with this how that the glue holding down this leather can grab pieces of wood and pull strips of wood out where you don't want them. And why risk ruining this beautiful top? And this leather is laid in there so perfectly along these straight edges. Why risk ruining that? Why not just refinish the leather we have? And so it was agreed upon to strip the entire piece, leather, wood, and all, trusting that I could refinish the existing leather and make it look like new. In addition to stripping the top, these are inserts for the drawers that were all stripped as well. And what a clever idea. When your desk is full, you can pull out a new writing surface. And it was agreed upon to refinish the desk first and then let me deal with being very cautious with the refinished wood as I re-dyed the leather. This is it, ready to go into the paint booth at the wood shop. And of course, back at my shop, we didn't need the whole desk, just the top and those inserts. Now, the doctor acquired the services of an interior decorator, and he decided on the color for the top. Sherwin-Williams Bluebird Feather, much to my surprise. But okay, custom colors is what I do. So I mixed a color according to this swatch, painted a piece of leather, sent it to the customer, got the approval. That was his target color. He was going to be happy with that. Now, here is one of Rick's strange rules. When you get the right color, and it's exact, don't use it. That is, do not use it until the very end. This is your top coat color. This is your target, your known good and approved target color. I will mix wet on wet, another color for coats 1 and 2. Those coats will be our working coats. But the final color is this one in the bottle. This is your money color. Obviously, we have to grind down some leather here. Prior to doing any work on this surface, I have elected to try out this particular delicate surface painter's tape. In the past, I have had masking tape pull up bits of the refinished wood. This tape will release much easier. And the other change we're going to implement this time is to never leave tape on for any length of time. We're going to do the work, remove the tape every day. Also, I'm very interested to see how it does with a straight edge, how it works with a water-based coating. But for this step, it will afford me some protection. Here I'm using 80 grit. I'm going to get pretty aggressive to get this charred leather down to level. My son David bought me this Milwaukee sander, so I put down my old Milwaukee. I had considered the possibility of cutting all this damage out and inserting a new piece of leather. Of course, I would have had to skive that down to the exact thickness of the original leather to mate up properly, and I would have still had 3 lines to mate up, 3 lines to repair. So in the end, I just elected to sand this down and use a filler, and I think in this particular instance it was the right call. And my filler of choice for this job, Bondo. Easy to work with, easy to sand. Tuck, tuck, fold. This is a pretty deep hole, so it doesn't necessarily want to stay in the hole properly. But then again, I'm going to let it dry overnight, so I want it as level as possible. I hate sanding. Okay, so that's it. We're going to let it dry, and we're going to remove our tape. Day 2, new tape. That's the plan. And we've got more 80 grit sanding action going on. Now to feather the edge a little bit better, I'm using 100 grit by hand. And a towel wet with alcohol for what we call a tack rag. And of course, I'm a fan of a guide coat color just to see what we have. I always say the guide coat only tells me one time how good I've done. The rest of the time it tells me that there's more to be done. Now here I'm using one of our latex-based fillers for leather, and I'm feathering it with alcohol in this case. We're going to let this dry overnight because, as you know, we don't like to sand this, but if it's let dry overnight, we can. Okay, day 3, new tape. That's the plan. A little block sanding action to keep it level. And another application of our latex-based filler with some color added. And that's all we're going to do until it cures overnight. Now day 4, new tape according to plan. Here I'm trying to feather a bit more using wet sanding technique. See if that feathers better. It looks like I'm getting there. And of course I want to be absolutely 100% perfect on this leveling job. And now to bring everything together, I'm using a little bit more of the filler and color, and I'm feathering the whole area. Now to prep the rest of the leather. So of course I'm protecting everything before cleaning, before prepping. And we've arrived at the time to put on our first coat of color, and let's see what we've got. And our first color coat has revealed some imperfections that we want to address at this time. And an application of some filler in each of these ought to take care of it. So after bringing our repair spots up to speed, this was our second coat. Our third and final color coat is, of course, out of our known good. The color we've been reserving for the very last. The color that was approved. And we know that we have plenty of our known good color because we didn't waste any of it on our first 2 coats. Now we're going to put on the clear coat. The requested finish was a matte finish, so we've added some flattener, and we're making sure to dry directly behind our painting so that the flattener has a chance to kick in. It's not a heavy coat that would tend to be shiny, but a fine mist coat followed by the hair dryer. Of course, the clear coat also contains a slip additive and a cross linker. It's got to be the durable coat. Nothing to it, just like puffed wheat. This is the final reveal for the effectiveness of our tape. This particular tape gave me a clean edge. There was never any detailing to be done on the edge anywhere. It came off nice and clean. Throughout the whole job, we never lifted any of the original brand new finish of the wood. Great choice. I couldn't have been happier. Any spray dust around the edges cleans up with our water-based cleaner. No harm, no foul. We can also see that our decision to refinish the leather rather than replace the leather saved chiseling away bits of wood here in the surface that would have caused even more work. This left such a neat job. That was a wise choice. Of course, no one else that's not a craftsman in our industry would even contemplate such a thing. They think new leather is the only answer, but here they've got the new leather. Every decision made for this restoration project was the correct one. Now you might be asking about the color choice. Well, we gave the customer exactly the color he requested. And we don't know what the room looks like that the interior decorator purposed for this particular color. We see two complementary colors. The wood is rather orange, and the leather is now blue. And when I was in the sign business, we knew that blue and orange, being complementary colors side by side, made each other stand out more pronounced. In a sign, together, those colors pop, and they get your attention. You wouldn't expect that on an heirloom desk, however, but if the setting was intended to create a more flamboyant atmosphere, then perhaps that's why. And here you go. This is it, ready for delivery. I hope this was helpful for you and for the person that requested the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll look for you next time.